Hi there, I'm Scott Paulson. I am founder of Paulson Coaching, and today I am with Robert Lunte, and we are going to have a discussion about how experts can start monetizing their expertise. Robert, thanks for joining us today. Do me a quick favor. A lot of your people probably know about you, but I've got some people joining this live cast or will be watching this here in just a little while after we make it available offline. But tell them a little bit about CourseCREEK and yourself, what it is that your service is, how you would describe the work that you would do, and how you would help any of my guests.
Sure, Scott. Thanks for having me, and it's fun to be here, and it's great to have an opportunity to meet your people, and so here we go. I spent 25, 30 years as a voice coach, actually, in Seattle, Washington for many years. Just a little bit about my background. It does have relevance in the sense that the process of building that business, I've probably put thousands and thousands of hours in front of a camera building online courses. So with Vocalist Studio, we built about, sometimes I lose count. It's like 10 or 12 courses in 6 different languages. So about 3 years ago, I pivoted from that business and launched CourseCREEK Consulting. And so with CourseCREEK Consulting, what we're doing, we're helping other coaches learn how to monetize their expertise and get scalability by creating digital content online courses, which tends to be, it's video-oriented learning and development content. And so,
tell me, what was it that caused you to pivot? What happened in your world that took you out, from being a highly successful voice coach into this new world of helping others produce their own digital content?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as a voice coach, one of the things that can be challenging for all coaches, not just a voice coach, all coaches, is we can tend to find ourselves working inside business models that don't scale real well. In other words, we tend to find ourselves selling our time and only selling our time. As a coach, I was doing a lot of one-on-one work, and early on in my career, that was okay. It was fun. It was just sexy, and it's creative, and it felt like a rock star. It's all great. But after about 20 years of that, sort of realized, gosh, I can't scale. I can't grow this business. It actually, a voice coach business can scale if you do it properly. And the way we did that was with online courses.
Right. Because you only have 24 hours in the day, right?
Yeah. It's all about scalability. And for me personally, it led to sort of, a frustrating, unhappy bouts as well. Just not feeling frustrated that I couldn't move on, and I finally just figured it out. Then I started scaling through the courses. So that's how we got here. That's the struggle that got me here.
So even though you were, this independent business owner, charting your own course, making your own destiny, you were still, and tell me if I'm characterizing this accurately, did you still feel, somewhat limited or constrained by what you were able to accomplish?
Oh yeah.
Just without that scalability?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Indeed. Yeah. And it's not so much related to making online courses per se, but I was also a bit restrained by the market. For me, it's been a real pleasure working with people like you and folks that come from a different background other than the arts and music. And I'm a musician. I'm still a singer. I was in Seattle tracking in a studio last week. But it's refreshing to be working with a different crowd, and it's been really stimulating for me to get around a different crowd. Yeah.
Okay. So you found CourseCREEK. You start working with all sorts of interesting people. Now, as founder of CourseCREEK and online course creator, tell us, where do you see the future of this industry going? And by that I mean the e-learning industry.
Yeah, it's only going to explode. It's only going to get bigger. The pandemic served as a catalyst to create awareness for coaches that had traditionally for years been going into class environments, butts and seats, and that's a a model that will always be available. But when the pandemic hit, they were sort of left in a lurch, so to speak, and I found myself immediately getting extremely busy. Now, you don't need a pandemic to justify the idea of doing online courses. So even if there isn't a pandemic, the future would be to augment your teachings and augment the things that you're already doing with an online course, because an online course can open up new doors and new markets that teaching in person really can't get to.
Right. So I've got to imagine.
Sorry to interrupt. Just want to add to that. The other thing that's making it really exciting is the technology is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The new technology, that the learning management systems, the platforms, the way we can make an online course engaging with the features and things is really super cool. So it's going in some neat places.
Right, and I think just about everybody who's a part of my audience has been working extensively with this the explosion of technology, and it's been here. We've seen it here in a lot of different ways, but over the last 18 months to 2 years, we've just seen an acceleration of the adoption. Using Microsoft as an example, they pulled forward I don't know, something like 3 or 4 years or 5 years worth of demand into the first 5 months of the pandemic, and really just sped up, the adoption of it. So now those audiences are there. Now, with those audiences all online, all on Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or whatever new platform starts coming out, what you're saying is that for a learning and development professional, somebody with any kind of expertise, really, a consultant, a coach, whether that's a youth instructor, that expert, that they really have to have more than just the ability to record a Zoom meeting to put together an online course?
Yes.
Okay.
I was referring to, I started touching on it a little bit earlier. There are folks, well, no problem, I'm just going to turn on Zoom and create files out of that. And no, that doesn't work. It just won't work. It doesn't look great, and it'll just come off looking amateurish. You'll look back at something like that and sort of laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
You have to, with CourseCREEK or with any good agency that does this, we work with instructional designers. And what would happen is they would sit with an instructional designer and you would share your idea. And what the instructional designer helps you do is map out the sequential lessons inside your course. And inside that sequence would be decisions such as, are we going to have a quiz here or not? Are we going to have a PDF download here or not? Are we going to stop and ask the students to go to a training resource page or not? Do we stop here and offer the students a group call session, a Q&A session with the teacher for a blended learning experience or not?
Okay.
Are we going to do talking head, you teaching to the camera, or are we going to use voiceovers on animations or some really cool technology we started working with, which is called Articulate 360, and it allows some really cool multimedia interactive tinker toys and features and bells and whistles inside the lesson user experience. Imagine being able to drag and drop blocks and draw arrows and have talking avatars working with you inside the training experience. The technology is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So that's where that would be, in our phase, that's phase 2. So we go through this creative phase with the instructional designers, and they help you get your idea in the right format so that it's cool and engaging. Yeah. Excellent.
Now, for those in my group that might already be instructional designers, what would be some of the other pain points or the more urgent pain points that they would have to be aware of? If they can design a great course, where would be the pitfalls where they might fall short, and of course, CREEK would be able to come in?
Well, if we refer to our 4-phase customer journey, if they have the content and the curriculum together, then what we would then do is we can offer clients an opportunity to get into the implementation. So our phase 3 is the implementation phase, where we go in, we take the course assets, and we upload them into specialized learning management systems. We also will set up the funnels, the lead magnets, the freemium, the email sequences, the nurturing sequences, the landing pages, static, and all of that. So it's the static pages, the inbound marketing, email, landing pages, conversion copy, creative design, pop-ups, email sequences, funnels, uploading and installing the assets, meaning the video assets. So that's our phase 3. So we would build that for your clients.
Okay, so you'd have all that requisite marketing stuff, all that technical coding, HTML, web building, all that stuff that, salespeople, business developers like me just hate to get involved in, or maybe an instructional designer, or even an LMS administrator. Maybe they don't have that kind of expertise. You'd be able to bring that to them and get their expertise online in a very effective way.
Yeah. Well, we do the heavy lifting. We do the stuff
that's excellent.
That's not so sexy. So come to CourseCREEK with assets ready to go. If you can get in front of the camera, if you articulate all of that, great. You don't need to work through our phase 2 coaching creative phase. That's fine. But what we can do is then develop it and build it into the implementation.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. But then there's another segment of my group. Those who have known me over the years know that I'm a volunteer youth athletics coach. Football, track and field is really my passion. Technical stuff like shot put, discus, hammer, javelin. All those great things that nobody watches on the Olympics anymore. But I know a lot of just brilliant people who are excellent at working with athletes at all stages of development, from young to maybe Olympic, pre-Olympic, and whatnot. And they are just wonderful motivators. Now, capturing that for somebody like that, whether that's in something like shot put, discus, track and field, or I imagine a guitar instructor, piano instructor, flute instructor, anything of those type of very technical areas. You're offering the whole package to be able to kind of pull that expertise out of them and start putting that into successful online courses.
Yeah, well, indeed. You're describing a kind of coach that it just comes to mind. There's a learning management system. If it looks like I'm fussing, I got a kitten that keeps jumping on my lap here. So I'm fighting that. But there's a platform out there that is designed for coaches, and as a voice coach, I probably fall into this group as well, that have a need to have their students see them do the thing. There's a physical activity to it, such as singing, yoga, athletics, a chef, cooking things. So if there's a big demand to actually see the process unfold in real time from the coach, like athletics, there's a particular platform that we build on. It's called Uscreen, all right? And we are experienced in building on Uscreen. Uscreen is a system that will put your training content on any device, a regular desktop, laptop, a handheld as well. But the cool thing about it is it also goes on on-demand TV. So your Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, all of that. If you want your training content to exist on a TV channel, if it's interesting to sort of have it available like a Netflix type user experience, this particular system works well for that and designed for that. And it just so happens that athletes are really good for that. It's really good in the yoga world.
Oh, yeah. See, I remember when I was young, I had the advantage that my dad was my coach. He was a high school teacher. He was a high school coach. And so I grew up with a coach in the house. And it was a great motivator as well. But he also had at least the foresight, and this is showing my age here a little bit, back 40 years, some odd years ago, right, to buy DVDs from experts. And I always remember, okay, just as a quick example, there was a world record holder, gold medalist, discus thrower by the name of Mac Wilkins from up in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, went to University of Oregon. And this guy went around holding clinics. And the old model is just, hey, buy my VCR, buy my DVD, get my stream my online videos.
Yeah.
But now with the advent of real time and this new platform you're talking about, you can actually blend that live instruction and blend that with maybe some of the things that they don't need that live instruction for.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you mentioned the live instruction, because the system that I just described, it's called OTT, over the top, or video on demand system, and what comes with the sort of the evergreen static content, the videos that you would upload that people can access and view. In addition to that, is a very cool live coaching interface as well. So you get the website piece where you go watch the videos, and then another piece comes with it where you would have a bi-weekly or once a week live coaching session with your students.
Oh, that is totally cool.
Now, that content during the live coaching sessions, sort of like what you and I are doing today, can then be repurposed and uploaded to the evergreen or to the static offering as well.
That is totally cool. In fact, I saw some coaches, a coach who was a track coach up at SMU back when I was competing. He's since retired, but during the pandemic, as Texas was reopening, there was limited availability, limited expertise. Some coaches and teachers didn't want to come back into the school. Some athletes didn't want to come back into crowds. And as we're all kind of reacclimating into this, but I have actually seen where, this particular coach did a very good job of having online sessions with some of his athletes all over the state. Yeah. And I was only awakened to the fact that he was doing it when probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when his high school athletes that he was coaching, started qualifying for the state meet and started winning championships. And I was like, man, okay, this athlete's way up in North Texas. This athlete's way down in South Texas. This athlete way out in West. Boy, he's got them all over the place. And this guy is a world-renowned expert who is now opening up his expertise to, youth athletes all over the world. And this sounds like it is a great platform to enable that, not just in, track and field or baseball or any other athletics, but really in anything where that expert instruction makes the difference. So what would be some of those other areas? I've only touched on two, like athletics and music, are the only ones that my limited creativity can come up with. What else have you seen?
I've seen this platform used for chefs, dancing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just flat out, really just entertainment for this particular platform, which is not the only platform we work on, by the way. But it's around this. We're talking about this Uscreen thing. There are people that will just put like music videos up on it, so it sort of looks like a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So, I mean, that can cool. People might pay for that content. We have a client in the UK. Her name is Claire Gangadine, and she is on Uscreen. We built her platform for her, and she is she has a set of workouts and fitness routines for people that ride horses.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
that is totally cool.
I didn't know that's a thing. But yeah, there's a way to sort of get fit so that when you're in the saddle, you're not hurting yourself, and you're also being it's favorable for the horse as well.
Yeah. So listen up, all you equestrian moms, all you horse moms out there, all you horse people out there. You know what? You could start monetizing that expertise, and I know having an ex-wife who's big into equestrian, I know that there is a world of difference between the really, really good ones and the not so good ones. That's an area of expertise that people will pay for too. Wow. Okay. That's a great idea. What else?
Well, Scott, there was something that came to mind when you'd asked me, we're talking about these athletes, and there's really, at least two courses in people like this. There's the mechanics, the physical mechanics, and the physicality of what they're doing. If we're talking about athletes or maybe singing or yoga, and that's one set of content. But there's another piece of content that could be mindset content. The winning attitude. Personal growth type content that can come from an athlete or from a coach that can be crafted into another course.
Okay. Wow. That's fantastic. And that is stuff that is very difficult to just get out of a book. To read a book, just, one or to read a biography and to be able to assimilate that knowledge and to start applying that knowledge. That is a great idea. All right. So as I mentioned before, I work predominantly with professionals in learning and development, corporate training, have for going on, my third decade almost. Now, they're very adept at accomplishing organizational goals by delivering the right course for the right people at the right time. I mean, that is what has made the American economy, the American corporate world, the powerhouse that it is. Okay. Now, the industry, however, especially for L&D, can be it can be pretty volatile at times, especially where I'm at in Houston, Texas, with oil and gas goes up and down. Right now, we're on one of these great upswings. And a lot of, we had a saying that when oil prices would drop, the first things that companies would cut was the marketing budget and their L&D programs, right? So there's usually a feeling of job insecurity that accompanies a lot of those roles. Now, what would be some of the first steps that type of professional that you would advise them to take to begin the journey of owning their own consultant business with regards to online course production outside of their corporate gigs, outside of their day job, so to speak?
So I would sit down and take inventory of what you've been teaching and what you've been coaching through the years. And I would try to make a determination on where the methodology is inside what you've been teaching. So anybody that's been doing it for many, many years has along the way, most people have created innovations or inventions, things that are unique in their approach teaching. And it's a bit of a self-exploratory thing, but I would encourage them to, and certainly I can help them do this because we've done methodology coaching before, where you sort of snuff out what is it that I'm doing that's innovative and inventive and original, and pull those elements out and then frame a course around that so that the course has this personalized touch to it and it can really speak for you. So I'm imagining in your example, we have people that have been coaching or been involved in this, maybe even just management for so many years. What is it that you do that's different and unique? So figure that out. Now, another angle on that is are there any workbooks or decks that you've created, or maybe even some books that some people have written? A deck, a workbook, a manual. These are sources of content and ideas that can be repurposed into online courses. So we'll take a look at decks and workbooks and things of that nature, and do what we call an audit. And we'll go through it, and we'll help individuals, help coaches learn how to take that story and put it into a curriculum that is designed for video delivery and learning management systems. Okay.
Now, in my particular universe, in that corporate learning and development world, I always had basically three worlds, three separate universes that I had to deal with. Now, I only dealt with the soft skill communications, time management, sales, negotiations, that kind of stuff. But there's also, technical training, job-specific kind of training, or what might be, even technology training,
Yeah.
or there might be some kind of compliance training, the world of compliance training. So
Uh-huh.
where do you see some of the most successful topics, the most in-demand topics across those three, multiverses, so to speak?
I have the opportunity to get access to certain tools online when we're working with clients that will show us popular topic ideas. It runs
Okay.
algorithms based on what people are asking for, and users are and certain success histories of topics that are of courses that are already in a said topic. So if you wanted to do something, you could look at some limited data that will tell you how successful it might be. That means up here, I have some ideas for some great topics.
Uh-huh.
If you know anybody, that has financial planning experience,
Okay.
good topic. Sells well. Cryptocurrency training, typically
Okay. Some blockchain stuff. Okay.
pretty hot.
Yeah.
Python coding, really
Python.
any kind of coding language. Python is extraordinarily hot. I've seen courses that sell Python that will do 60 grand a month.
Wow. Wait. $60,000 a month. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 60.
I think I need to go back and learn some coding. In fact, I think I'm going to tell my son, who's in college, to get back into computer engineering. He had to take a Python class in his freshman year at Texas A&M University.
Yeah, cloud computing, AWS certification, IT courses that require certification can be a very hot topic, because a lot of the marketplaces, such as Udemy, that are selling courses similar to this, are being used by people that are trying to advance their careers. So if it's technology and there's a certification behind it of sorts, that typically tends to be a pretty hot idea. Digital marketing, anything paid advertising, social media management is also very hot topics.
Okay. I imagine there's got to be some demand, especially around like Facebook ads, with all these changes that I've heard about with iOS 14, Apple change. I have no clue what all that means. I just know that every time I turn on Facebook, I keep on seeing these, hey, the world's changing, digital ad, digital marketing. So imagine that's got to be pretty hot. Okay. How about,
It is.
let's talk about corporate soft skills. What do you see in there as what might be in demand or potential hot topics?
Public speaking, presentation skills, presentation methodologies, leadership, management. Those are also hot topics and tend to, well, not only transform lives and educate, but they tend to do very well in the business.
Okay. Now, what if it starts coming into? I'll jump over to the compliance world, and by that I'm thinking, HR compliance in this ever-changing world of what corporate America is looking like in terms of its employee populations and how regulations are changing. Is there a demand for somebody to take an HR compliance expertise, start turning that into a series of instructional type of videos, or do we start running into any kind of like legal gray areas where employment law might put a bottleneck on that kind of stuff?
Inclusion is hot.
Yeah.
Inclusion is hot, and we don't have a client that's teaching that yet, but I've talked to many people that are in that space.
Okay.
that's sort of what you're hitting at.
Yeah, that, and the workplace regulations. Everybody's just trying to navigate a new world out there, and I believe everybody that I give everybody the benefit of the doubt that we all have the best of intentions, but a lot of times, ignorance is just killing us. And so, how can we start capturing some of that HR expertise, the compliance, and bring that out on a larger scale, maybe to a population of business owners or small business owners that don't have this access to the same resources as the Fortune 500 companies that can build those extensive kind of training libraries.
Yeah. We
So,
have we have clients currently that do corporate culture change.
okay.
We have 2 communication skills, so business communications clients. We have a client
Nice.
who is helping millennials learn how to get a job.
Mm.
So and Gen Z. So you graduate, you don't have much of a resume or track record yet. How can you land your first job? How can you
Okay.
keep your first job?
So you're getting like career counselors and
I guess
resume kind of people.
yeah, it's not really. My understanding is she's not making resumes, but it's more advice and towards winning the interview.
Okay. Well, that's so important for everybody, especially if you're. Well, I'm again showing my age a little bit. I'm Gen X, and there's still some of the baby boomers that might be lingering around the workforce out there. But if we got to go in and start winning interviewers with younger generations, that's like having to learn a new language at times as well. Yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing that about the corporate world. I know that is such a large. There is so much expertise out there.
Yeah.
That is just that those individual pockets of knowledge and expertise that would benefit a lot of people. Okay, let me take a step back, and I want you to share with us your hero story. Okay, a time in your life or your career that you can remember when, man, it just felt like rock bottom, and how did you recover from it? How did you keep yourself going? How did you begin to get the wins that led you to become the success that you are today? Inspire our viewers out there.
Wow. And sort of hit on it a little bit earlier, but after 20 years as a voice coach. By the way, as a voice coach, I'm the bee's knees out here. I've toured, I wrote a book, and I did public speaking and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun, but it didn't scale. And
Right.
and so okay, I'll share with you the story. So I'm struggling, and my business is in a situation where I'll take just about anything if they're willing to pay. Okay. Already.
Yeah.
A setup for a situation that nobody wants to find themselves in. And I get a call from a father who wants me to give lessons to his daughter. Okay. Well, just to be here and tell you, unless you're about 20, 21 years old, it's kind of a waste of time. There are some exceptions, but as a voice coach, it can be sort of like from about 14 to 21, it's sort of babysitting turns into actually working with somebody that wants to practice and get something done. So I was leaning towards the babysitting side. All right.
Okay.
I need you to help me train my daughter. All right. No problem. Come down to the studio. It's in downtown Seattle. I got this beautiful space. You can come down over the weekend. No, you're going to come to me. You're going to come to us. And like, yeah, I don't do house calls. Not really. Well, that's the deal. Okay. And I did.
But you needed to work, so you did it, didn't you?
Yeah. So I did my first house call.
All been there. Okay.
I hope so, because I hate to feel like I wasn't the only one that was sucking wind. So here I am. Literally, it's my first house call, and it's a bit humiliating. I'm driving across town. I've already spent the $40 on gas just getting there that they were going to pay me. Then when I get there, it was, we're only going to pay you half to start and then half when you're done. And it's just an hour lesson for a kid. It's not a big deal. You know, like, oh man, that's
Right.
not working for me. And I'm teaching her in the kitchen. So we're in the kitchen, and I just tell you, I hated it. I hate it. It's like, this is just not, how did I get here? This is not how I teach, but I had to take it. This is not, money sucks and everything. And there were lots of stories that way. Anyways, fast forward, I'm on the phone with another one of my students who became a friend and a mentor, actually. And I'm on the phone with him, and I'm bitching and griping on the telephone. And he says about these things. And he says to me, he says, Robert, stop. He says, Robert, being a voice coach is not the only thing you can do. You can do other things too. And I never forgot that. Never forgot when he told me that. And the other thing he said to me one day when I was commiserating, he was being a good friend, is he says, you need scalability. You need to find a way to get scalability. So stuck with me. Scalability, and what else can I do? And I did a lot of soul searching on that. And it was always staring at me right in front of my face. I can help people make online courses. This is the other thing that I did that is specialized skills.
Okay.
And so we launched CourseCREEK. And I've always been somebody that sort of faked it till I made it. You know,
Okay.
just gonna just go and just ask for forgiveness later. And we threw up a website, a CourseCREEK website. It would have been several years ago, and it just sort of had some of that out of the box Wix filler content in it, because I was so new. I didn't even know exactly what it was, that made me unique so much. It was just a good looking picture and some filler content. And I survived on that for about 6 months until I learned, the business. I learned, we started developing our way and our approach and our methodology. And there was a stroke of luck. About 2 weeks after I launched that first website is when COVID hit.
Oh man. Okay.
And it was literally just like 3, 2, 1. Ring. Oh my God, I'm ass over tea kettle. I've been coaching and for 35 years inside companies. What do I do? What do I do? I went to Google and I saw your website. It says, can you help me make a course? And I'm just like, okay.
Of course I can.
How can I help you today? Yes, I can. Let's go. And off we went. And it's been gangbusters. Gangbusters, and ever since, and it was just nonstop. So now we have a team of 8 specialists.
Wow.
Talented people. We do, I'm like a real CEO managing these folks every single week, and we're helping clients. We're building courses with all walks of life, and it's challenging, but it's super fun, and it's refreshing.
Amazing. That's fantastic.
The best thing about it, Scott, is I don't have to work in anybody's kitchen.
There you go. I can attest to the fact. That you're not the only one that's had to go to work in somebody's kitchen. When I was a productivity coach, or when I would fill in as a personal productivity coach to fulfill the sales that I was making, there were times I was actually doing coaching sessions in clients' kitchens. So I've been there. All right. Let me shift to the business side of things just a little bit, because you've probably inspired a number of people to start thinking about what great ideas can I monetize. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, explain what you mean by scalability. We've got a lot of great business people that are going to be seeing this in the L&D world, but what does scalability mean? What's the scalability that CourseCREEK delivers?
Well, several kinds of scalability. First, my my definition of scalability is you put in 1 unit of energy or 1 unit of effort, and from that seed, it continues to grow. That's probably not a perfect definition of scalability, but it's something.
It's a good visual. It's a good visual representation.
Yeah, like you make an effort up front, and the amount of energy that it takes to deliver that information or that work effort has the ability, because of the technology or the model or what have you, to get out to more than one potential.
Okay.
So online courses and the solopreneur world has several forms of scalability. The best form of scalability, I think, is online courses, because you put in your effort up front and then it just runs 24/7. And like I had mentioned earlier,
it'll
be available to 850 English speaking customers around the planet. Planet Earth is a pretty big market, so as long as they understand what you're saying and they understand English, that's pretty big. International exposure, provided it's all marketed properly. So online courses are fantastic. Another form of scalability that we talk about, it can help, is affiliates, resellers.
Okay.
Duplicating your sales efforts through others. You can scale with group calls. It's not quite as slick as an online course, but to teach to a class that doesn't require you to get on an airplane and go to sort of a limited group of folks, but to sit at home, to sit in your kitchen if you wanted to, and teach 1,000 people through technologies like what we're using right now. I mean, that's a miracle. And back to your question about the future, that's the future as well. So group calls are a way of getting scalability.
Okay. I'm sure that resonates with a lot of the trainers with whom I've worked over the years. We had this one guy, he was based out of Dallas, and we called him the Iron Horse. He delivered 130 classes a year, and none of them were in Dallas. He was on the road close to 200 days out of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was his thing. He loved it. But, we all had a running pool bet of how long could he keep it up until, just wanted to throw in the towel. And we knew, or at least I suspected, that it wouldn't be, gradual, but it would just one day it'd be like, boom, I'm sick of this. How do I get out of it? Okay. So there's probably a lot of people who that resonates with right there.
There is. That's what I'm hearing in our client calls. It's a lot of that. I find myself looking at people, meeting people that are really been quite successful. It's either somebody that's established and successful, or somebody that's a complete beginner. Either way is equally lovely. It's perfectly fine. But there's a group of people that are quite successful, and they've been doing this for a long time, but they simply are tired. It's just, hi, I'm Robert. What can I do for you? What's your story? Let's get it on. Let's go. And the first thing that comes out of their mind isn't help me make gobs of money. That they got that. It's just help me to not have to just do planes, trains, and automobiles anymore. I'm getting tired, just like I did as a voice coach. I'm burning out on one-on-ones or one classroom at a time. And typically everybody burns out on that sooner or later. It's only a matter of time. It's inevitable for most people that it's going to happen. And then
it's sad because when that happens, there's so much knowledge that just retires with the people.
It's so sad. It's sort of like the sad clown syndrome a little bit, because on the outside there's this beautiful thing that's transforming and people are getting a lot out of it. They've been getting a lot out of it for years. But I had said on a few occasions, I put my blood, sweat, and tears and my heart and soul into the coaching thing. And at times, like the little story I shared with you, the person that's getting the least out of it is me. And that's only sustainable for a while. And I just see a lot of people burning out. And in terms of, other than just running a successful business, in terms of sort of a passion and a mission for helping others, I can sincerely say that there's a place in my heart to help people get out of that, because I was one miserable SOB for a while, because I was just not, I was burned out on doing one-on-ones, and I want to help people that are having that, experiencing that. I want to show them a way. There's a way to get out.
So your passion had basically become work. I think a lot resonates with a lot of people as well. All right, so we've taken idea. We got a lot of ideas floating around out there right now, and people are thinking, "Man, I can reach bigger audiences. I can scale this. I can deliver it once and teach it to many, so to speak." Let's talk function now, and this is just a little bit off script, but dollars and cents. What should my people here expect to invest? Because I know, it's not an expense, but it's an investment. But what should they expect to invest in terms of time, effort, and especially money to put their expertise into an online course that, if it's Python, can get about $60,000 a month? What's that going to cost them?
Yeah. Anybody that knows Python, give me a call at the end of this interview, please. We'll do a rev share. Answering your question, and I just want to be really straight up and fair and transparent about that. Depending upon the package, depending upon what their needs are, a package is going to run anywhere from about $6,500 to $30,000.
Okay. So basically, you're putting yourself in business for $6,000 to $30,000, just depending on how much of your expertise, your teams that they need, right?
Yeah, what you need. You'd mentioned earlier in our discussion, well, some folks already have an instructional design. Well, if you already have instructional design, you already have your video assets, and they actually do look fantastic. Well, you just saved yourself, a big piece of the pie in terms of all these steps that have to be taken to really get it done at the end of the day. And some people sort of have that going. But minimum, something that you can sell, that's going to create revenue, that's going to drive traffic and give you the online course experience at a minimum would be about $6,500.
Okay.
Now, if we go into building numerous courses into a sophisticated learning management system with email sequences and landing pages and specialized professional conversion copy that's been written and all of that, well, then that's you get into like $20,000, $30,000.
Okay. Okay.
Now the return on that, it depends on the idea and how much we're marketing it. But I would say most courses are doing anywhere from, say, $3,000 to $10,000 a month, and the return can be pretty quick.
Okay.
We also do launch campaigns for our clients as well. So when it's all done, we will build and project manage a launch campaign. And a launch campaign is just simply it's an event. It's sort of like in the musician world, it's the online course version of the CD release party. You have a new course, a new product. It's not been released to the public yet, so you create an exciting event around it, and it's online, and we have certain tactics and strategies on how to do that. And at the end of your launch campaign, you can overnight really just pay.
Nice. So you're not just like putting together video courses and say, here's how you put them online. I mean, you are basically helping them build their business in a way that's going to help make them more successful from soup to nuts.
Well, yeah. When it's all built at the end of phase 3, we move to phase 4. And in CourseCREEK, phase 4 is literally called driving the traffic. And there's ways that we drive the traffic. We do that through on-site and off-site SEO, maybe some paid advertising, done by somebody you can trust that gets results. Social media management, a platform funneling strategy whereby we take a mini course, we put it on a marketplace like Udemy, we get sales and customers from that, and then we siphon them off to the full course offer at your LMS. That's called platform funneling. I do that with my team.
Okay.
It's been pretty successful, and launch campaigns. So there's about 5 ways to get that traffic going and start building your list. But we don't. For a short while, we stopped at the build. We stopped at phase 3, and I stood back and I go, you know what? We're not done. We're not done. We ushered these clients into this. They built these courses, and I want to help them get some sales. Before I walk away from this, I want to know that the SEO is set up right, that they're driving traffic to the funnels we built, that we've done a launch campaign, or at least pitch the idea so they had an opportunity to do this properly, and make sure that there's traffic that's driving to the funnels that we built in phase 3.
Right. Well, because let's face it, at the end of the day, that expert doesn't have just one course in them, do they? They've got more, and you want to help them get to the more, don't you?
Yeah, sure. But it's true. People watching this video will think to them. Some people will think to themselves, "Yeah, I think I've got a course in me. I think I got one. I got an idea.
Yeah,
I got an idea." And the truth is, if you get in front of an instructional designer like myself or one of my people, we'll show you. You got a lot more. Yeah.
There you go.
You got a lot more than one idea. You've got 4, 5, 6, 10 ideas in you, and you don't even know it. And each one of them can become an online course. I mean, were you to get excited about this and we're successful and you wanted to really go after it and make multiple courses, but yeah.
Yep. And in the last couple of minutes that we have here, I'm going to do one shameless little plug. And for those individuals who maybe are more retirement rich than they are cash rich, or more available to do that way, I've done a lot of work on how, how these projects can actually be funded from retirement accounts. It's not too dissimilar from ways that real estate is purchased for qualified IRAs, your 401k, whatever you may have there. So I'd be happy to talk to anybody about that. And in the last moment that we got here, Robert, I just want you to take a look at the camera, look into the eyes of these great people here, and share some of your sage words of wisdom in the last couple of minutes. A profound lesson, advice, anything that you hope that they will always remember with today's webinar, and most importantly, that your name will be tacked to in their minds.
All right. Well, 2 things, and that is know that if you have found yourself at a certain stage in your career where you do in fact feel like you're burning out, or you need some change, sort of what we were describing earlier, know that there is a way out. There is a solution, and it's through scalability. And there's different ways of getting scalability. The online course is the best, purest way to get scalability. So you may be left at that point asking, well, okay, but how? What do I do? Know this, that inside everybody is an expertise. Everybody's great or knowledgeable or an expert at something. Inside you is an idea that, if crafted properly and marketed properly, can turn into something that can get you out of your rut, but also transform the lives of others in a profound way. And when you get there, by the way, it's going to be a lot of work. It is a lot of work doing an online course. It's sort of like making a movie or making an album. All the sweat equity goes into it up front. You invest all your heart and soul up front, but in the end, when it's done, outside of just regular maintenance and marketing, it is totally worth it if you hit it out of the ballpark, if you got success. It's worth it, and it can transform your life. It's transformed my life. That's why I'm doing it now as a business, and it can transform your life. So you really can do it. I encourage you to look into it.
Nice. Nice. What a great way to end this. Robert, thank you so much for spending the past hour with us. This has been very informational and enlightening to me, and actually a little bit of inspiring. I'm going to talk to you about some sales courses offline here once we're done,
Yeah.
and see what we can get going.
Yeah,
Excellent.
you're actually a good candidate for it, Scott.
I hope so. All right. Well, if anybody wants to contact us, I'm sure at the end of this video, the recording, the contact information will be there, will be posted. So feel free to give us a holler, give us a shout, tell them where you saw the video, and we just hope we can help some people take their expertise, what you have spent probably years and years and years developing and accumulating for yourself, and giving to your organization, and start turning that into something that's going to help a broader audience, but at the same time, remunerate you very fairly for it.
Yeah, for sure. Just get a hold of me. Thank you, Scott. I'm at CourseCREEK.com, by the way, and we're happy to help you.